Okay, so if we keep looking at the hormones, you can see again during the first 15 days, basically, we're going to have estradiol, estrogens. Then during the last 15 days, we're going to have progesterone. Now, these are hormones produced by the ovaries. If you look here at the top, you have other hormones, LH and FSH. They come from your pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is the one that triggers basically all these different mechanisms that are going to happen right here. So, ovulation has a strong correlation with a peak in LH, as you can see right here. But again, remember you have also FSH working throughout the whole month. So we said that in the case of females, they have two cycles, reproductive cycle if they are pregnant, and the other one is a sexual cycle if the female is not pregnant. So in this case, this is what we are looking at when the female is not pregnant. And we said that that particular cycle has two pieces. One is going to be the ovarian cycle, and the other one is going to be the uterine cycle. We already talked about the ovarian cycle, which is the first part is going to be the follicular phase, then is ovulation, and then there is luteal phase. And as you can see here, ovulation has a strong relationship with a peak of LH, but also peak of estradiol, right? So this LH triggers this other peak in estradiol, which eventually is going to trigger the release of the ovule during ovulation. So this is what happens in the ovules, and this is, in the ovaries, and this is from day 1 to day 28. What happens in the uterus? Remember, this is the same month, same days, right? But we're looking at the uterus, and in the uterus we're going to have basically the end of the menstrual period. Then we have the proliferative phase and the secretory phase. Let's say, the menstrual cycle ends in day 2, let's say, and then from there, the proliferative phase starts, where the endometrium starts growing, as you can see here, starts growing. Day 15, say more or less, we start with the secretory phase, in which the uterine endometrium is maintained in case the female becomes pregnant. By day 27, if the female doesn't get pregnant, the endometrium is dropped, as you can see here, and that's when the menstrual period starts. When the endometrium is dropped, that's the menstrual period. And as you can see, it's dropping, and in here is dropping. So there's no endometrium basically right here, or very, very little. The basal part of the endometrium is what is available. So how many phases we have in the uterus? Well, we have the menstrual phase. From day, let's say 5 to day 15 is proliferative phase. From day 15 to day 27 is the secretory phase, and then that's when we start with the menstrual period. Now take a look at the strong relationship between the progesterone and the secretory phase. Progesterone maintains the endometrium in case the female becomes pregnant, and the growth of the endometrium right here is maintained by the estradiol. Remember, the endometrium is maintained by progesterone. If it doesn't become pregnant, the entire endometrium is going to get dropped except the basal part of it, so it can regrow again. So everything in here gets lost through the menstrual period. That's why there's nothing left in here, and it starts growing again. So very important for you to remember that the first 15 days, the proliferative phase is related to estradiol, and the last 15 days is related to progesterone. Not only that, progesterone is during the last 15 days, and progesterone is produced, as you can see right here, by the corpus luteum. Okay, so if we keep scrolling down, we see in the ovulation, menstrual cycle, we recovered that. We said the first part is going to be the proliferative phase, secretory phase, then the menstrual phase. Okay, and here you have a drawing where they are showing you what happens. Proliferative phase, there's nothing basically, it starts growing. Secretory phase, in here you have a lot of blood vessels and a lot of secretions that are going to be available and ready in case the female becomes pregnant. So the future baby, right, the embryo, is going to be able to get blood and nutrients in order to start growing. If the female does not become pregnant, then everything gets lost through the menstrual period, as you can see right here. So if we keep scrolling down, and there you have the days of the month, basically everything that I just mentioned. And that's it for this part. Okay, the next topic is female sexual response. Obviously, what's the function of all these reproductive organs that females have? And I'm not going to talk much about it, but it has 3 phases, and they are going to be excitement and plateau, where the blood pressure increases, the heart rate increases, the respiratory rate also increases. Then you have orgasm, and then at the end there is resolution. That's it. Okay, the next topic is pregnancy and childbirth. This is obstetrics, basically, and gynecology, and this is not a class for that. But there's a few things that I want to mention related to the hormones that are going to change when the female is pregnant. That relates to more to anatomy. Pregnancy obviously is going to be what we call the reproductive cycle. So we scroll down right here. This is the part I want to mention. This is based on weeks. So basically in week 5, approximately 4 to 5, there's going to be an increase of this hormone, which is going to be the human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. This is a very important hormone that is produced only when the female is pregnant, and there is a peak, or there is an increase of this hormone starting for week 4 and 5. Week 10, 11, it's going to have a peak, and week 15 to 16, it's going to start dropping. But again, it's very important for you guys to remember that there is a human chorionic gonadotropin. This is the hormone that is produced by the placenta. Then you can also see that estradiol and progesterone start increasing by week 20 in order to maintain the pregnancy. After that, you can see there the hormones that I just mentioned. And in there you can see the changes, adjustments to pregnancy, and all the changes that the female goes through when is pregnant, but that's not something that is related to this class, so I'm not going to discuss that part in this chapter. Okay, the next topic is lactation. Again, this is after the baby is born, and I'm not going to talk about this because this is not something covering anatomy, but just a few words about it. Due to the presence of the hormones, right, specifically, estrogen, there's going to be an increase in the size of the mammary gland and the production of milk. But at the very beginning, the milk that is produced is not actually called milk. It's actually called colostrum, as you can see right here, colostrum. Colostrum is very similar to milk, but it has less fat. Okay, so it's basically the same content, but it has less fat, and it contains immunoglobulins. As you can see here, immunoglobulin A, which is going to provide some immunity for the baby in order to fight infections that the baby may encounter. Okay, after that, obviously, there's going to be a production of milk that is going to be able to feed the baby and make the baby grow. And that's about it for this. Let's scroll down, and milk ejection, breast milk. Okay, milk ejection and breast milk, those are controlled by hormones. Production of milk is controlled by the prolactin, which is a hormone. And milk ejection is controlled by oxytocin, which is another hormone that we're going to cover during the endocrine system. And that's about it.